And it
point.
did just start, so maybe there isn't too much time
Okay,
for the poll, but yeah.
no
So we're
worries.
gonna look at that game, Dave Wiegand versus Peter Armstrong, who is an extremely strong player in his right. They both live on the West Coast, and if there wasn't a pandemic, I'm sure they'd be playing a lot over the board. I think it's usually a very exciting game between the two, and already two plays have gone down.
Yeah, so
So
sorry about that while I was talking about Volt. But yeah, it looks like Dave opening with a 6 1 point letters and a blank. So he plays Asinine. That looks like a very good play. Again, actually, the reason that Asinine in that spot is so good, we were just talking about that with Volt. It manages to avoid putting any vowels next to the double letter score. So great choice by him. Asinine also does not hook with anything at the end. So, among the most defensive options, or possibly the most defensive by Dave to start. And Peter Armstrong playing hookah, which Josh was talking about what a strong, experienced player Peter Armstrong is. I do think of him as a very aggressive player
uh-huh,
as well. And
absolutely.
hookah in this spot, extremely aggressive, making a potential not only an S hook, but also hookah takes the H as well if Dave were to have had that second H, the first one being played with hookah, so there's only one left, it would create a huge scoring opportunity. But
But it
Dave does
looks
not have
perfect.
those letters. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Peter had the S, so it makes the play of hookah even stronger. I was actually thinking maybe Cersei, Cersei Lannister. No, Cersei right
Yes.
above hookah, making again that ion hook we were talking about early yesterday. How it's kind of hard to see the eye hook on ON. I would have maybe liked to see that over flick just because it puts another tile into the bag, and honestly, the biggest deal right now is drawing a hook for hookah. So I don't know. Flick looks like a really good play. It's a much better leave of CER,
Mm.
but I might have liked seeing that slight adjustment. I don't know about you
Yeah,
though.
there's so Cersei, but also the anagram of Cyric also scoring
Oh,
quite
Thierk
well
is
in that
good.
same
Okay,
spot. So a variation on the theme of
okay, so
Cersei.
Thierk then, yeah.
Either way, I totally I think it's a great point that Josh has made, which is simply that the leave after flick is very strong. The board does not really support it without that S hook in your hand, right? It's going to be very difficult to get both a 7 or an 8 letter bingo down here. So keeping that nicer leave not really as important until you get that S that allows that hookah's potential to open up for you if you were to draw a bingo. So liking that idea from Josh. But it is back over to Peter Armstrong, and he had that S. He played hookah, leaving a S, and he drew two more A's, which is not really what he wanted to see.
Yeah, I would like to address some chat that we've let slide here. Well, the question was answered in chat. What's the difference between the open and light divisions? Thanks a lot, Binac, for answering that. There is a rating cap in the light division, so the open division is the stronger division. And G asks how many more games. This is game 12 of 20, and after 20 games, we'll see who the winners are. We also see the update in chat from the light division that Gideon once again, um,
Well,
well,
Emmett
maybe not
won
once again. Yeah,
yesterday.
Emmett won yesterday, and Gideon
Yeah.
won. We were just getting
So
really
the
confused.
the brothers are at 1-1. Yeah. Don't ask me which brother is which, at terms of which their screen name is on here. But I know that Gideon and Emmett are now at one win apiece in their two matchups. So nice job, guys. You're both doing really well in your division. I love to see it. Um,
Wow. Okay, so
so
play is coming down pretty fast. Data looks um, really good for Peter there, keeping the AST, getting rid of his triplicate A's and his duplicate T. Not opening that much. It does open the spot for Crowdy, but also the spot at 8A for a triple word. But I think Data was a decent play there. Probably the right play.
yeah,
And
it's almost helpful to open that new triple just to continue to divert attention from the hookah's hook, right? Like if Peter is trying to draw that big blow that would go down with hookahs, opening another spot to distract Dave's attention from blocking it is kind of a nice idea too.
Yep, and we see a suggestion in the chat from Darren Koo. Good to see you, Darren Koo.
Hey, Darren.
Of instead of flick there, flick to the K for one less point, which would be
Keeping another
better.
C, yeah, for the
Which
Kai
would be
hook.
better for also for bingos because you're not closing down that A, the S, or I. I think in Dave's defense was a good. I just said defense twice in a row, but I think defense was a good option there because he did open with a bingo, and it's good to reduce the opponent's options. But both of these players quite aggressive, so I would not have been surprised to see the play of flick to the K as well.
True.
So there's no bingo here as far as we see. So it looks
Nope,
like
nothing
Mopey to the
playable.
Y or Mop above Hookah making okay.
Those are very different
Um,
plays, though, Josh. Like
yeah.
they each score 33 and 34 points, respectively, but they
Mhm.
do such different things. And I
Yeah.
really thought we were going to see Mopey come down, and sure enough, we do.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's more points. So I think,
well,
I
this
think
Mopey
it's,
is actually one fewer point
oh, sorry.
than
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's just
so
34 to
the
33. Sorry
yeah
about that.
so the no, it's fine. The idea is just so interesting. Like from Peter's perspective, he is taking a very, very similar score to continue to open more parts of the board and most importantly continue to leave that hookah spot open, and Dave has a really difficult rack to do anything to address it here.
Yeah. I think
um
he's going to have to play blonde somewhere.
I tend to agree. Yeah. So blonde in one of the either of the two spots. You see two open O's right now, one through Mopey, one through Crowdy. And either of those will really help resolve this issue that he has of 6 consonants and only 1 vowel. So we'll just have to see.
Although
Um,
he could potentially play ball through that A and Hookah.
I know that there are many players that would feel like after a play like Hookah, Data, Mopey, the plays that Peter is making, doing nothing to address the Hookah's hook, are very concerning. And I think playing ball through that A of Hookah does have some advantage in that regard. Just knowing that your opponent is so likely to have something strong. And sure enough, Peter Armstrong is going to hit this spot in a big way now. So
Yeah, so I
just
think Jeff Tate,
targets. I mean,
yeah, target. Oh,
anything
targets, yeah, of course.
like that with hookahs is going to come down, and it's going to get Peter Armstrong right back in this game. Um, and yeah, would Dave probably? I think he. I wonder if Ball would have saved him a little bit of. Probably not. He still. I think the problem is you still are going to get hit by too much stuff in terms of hookah's plays that have vowel S. Is there anything like that here? Let me see. Would he still have hit?
Oh,
Yeah,
meta
Tajits.
tags,
Yeah,
and also
Tajits.
meta tags.
Oh, wow. Meta tags from the M of Mopey would have been
Okay, so we
available.
see Gestalt here, so that might have been a miss
Huh.
of targets because that would have doubled the G. So I don't feel so bad for missing it myself. And Lacerate comes down really fast
Right
for
away.
Dave,
Yep.
just going right back into the lead. We saw the play of Blonde keeping the LER leave, and that can very well translate into a bingo on the next turn. And as we see, Lacerate immediately coming down, and yeah, it's once again up to Peter to play from behind. See what he
Yep.
does here.
Yeah, players trading bingos. So Peter Armstrong thinking, I've finally fought my way back. I finally hit my S hook on hookahs. And just as quickly as that, Dave bingos back to take the lead again. But still way too close for comfort. Peter's right behind. He's only down 50 on this turn. Dave making a nice play with his W of Wayne.
Seems best for sure. Yeah.
Surely best there. He had 2 N's and a WU combination. Whenever you have that WU, it's red alert important to get rid of at least one of those 2 tiles, if not both. And Dave manages to use his W and one of his 2 N's and score 32. Clearly correct.
Yeah. And now very awkward rack for Peter. We see in chat. Shout out to right behind you. He was a
Another one
very,
of
very
our
strong
trusty
column player, but
Wooglers
yes,
up late
absolutely.
every night this week, right behind you. We love you, buddy. Um, But yeah, that word
Gurgin. Yeah.
gurgin, it is
Fortunately, it doesn't play. Does it play?
no, it is not
No.
playable here. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so that's interesting. Jut is played right there by Peter for only 30 points. Tacking the Eon with
Yeah.
Jute would have scored 36 points with a lot of E's left.
A lot of E's.
Josh, your
That's the
thoughts on that?
thing. If there was a problem where there weren't many E's left, because we do see that he's still down 52 points, and the E is the best bingo tile, as you mentioned it over and over again. Um, I think if there was a problem with the E's remaining in the pool, I think that Jut might be worth playing over Jute. But since there are so many other E's to come, but look at this. It's gonna work out perfectly. But yeah, I think
Wow.
playing Jute for 6 more points in a vacuum was definitely the better option there, but hey, who can
Can't
dispute
argue
what
with
just
the
happened?
result.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't argue with the result here. And that's definitely a hallmark of Scrabble, right? Like Josh and I have probably both made many, many, many mistakes in tournament games and then benefited from those mistakes by just drawing precisely the right combination. And you really, as an analyst of Scrabble, you have to be careful to separate the precise outcome that occurs in a game with the theoretical consideration of which was the best play. But ultimately, Jut versus Jute was very nuanced. I'm not going to call Jut a huge mistake because by keeping that E, you do get that bingo percentage probably slightly higher. Maybe not 6 points worth, but Gurney's going down will smooth over any kind of, if we think of that as a tiny little error. Doesn't matter now, just move on with the game. So Dave does play Bez for 43 quickly, so he continues to stay one step ahead, though.
Yeah, and this is quite the awkward rack again for Peter. 6
Yeah,
vowels,
tough, right out
2
of the bag.
duplicates. It's gonna be hard to find a good move here. I'm not really seeing much. What are you
Well, he
seeing?
can just dump two of his vowels on top of Bez if he wants to. That's really, really unappealing. Just playing OE or AE. He does have two A's, so maybe the fact that he has two A's and two E's would maybe lead me to want to play just AE and really hope somehow that I get two consonants on my draw. I don't really have much beyond that. I
Yeah, I think no,
guess,
I think
yeah.
that's a great option. I didn't see it. I think just AE there is best you might be able to do in that position. I mean,
Yeah.
just wait it out. There's still a few more moves to come before the end of the game. See what happens.
And we see that is the move that Peter Armstrong selects. So he's only down by 23 going into this turn for Dave. But Dave has a couple of options staring us right in the face for his X here underneath Gurney's, for example, would
Mhm.
score 41. The only downside of that play
Of
is it
XU, right?
does, yeah, the downside of the XU play underneath the EY of Gurney's is in the Collins dictionary. You do have to worry about the exo
Ooh.
hook. But a terrible draw of two eyes for that's a crusher right there for
Yeah.
Peter Armstrong.
Yeah, and I mean, I was thinking that maybe there's a world in which Idoi took an S, but no. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to proceed here. Like you're down 64 points. You can make a small play here, but any scoring play by Dave is just probably going to be too much. So
Yeah, this
we'll
is
see what he comes up with. But
a truly awful position. How about maybe you could play Oidia on top of Gurney's, making Ag and go for that Q and try to make a chi spot for yourself? Is that something you might do here?
where? Sorry.
So just Oidia on top of Gurney's with Ag, it puts
Mhm.
an I underneath a triple letter score. So maybe you pluck that Q out of the bag, and if Dave tries to block bingo lanes, you just plop your Q down for 65.
Yeah, that's a decent option. I do think that most of the time Dave's just going to play over there for like 20, 30 points, and it'll
And
be game
then
over. But
if you're Peter Armstrong, even if you do hit a bingo after that, a simple play on top of Voidia is probably going to outrun whatever you have. So I just don't have any better ideas. It's a bad situation here. Yeah. So some good comments in the chat. I'll start with the most recent one from Z Pekarsk. The only reason that you would play Jut over Jute is worried about holding the U as your only vowel. That's absolutely a valid concern, and was clearly, I think, that had to be on Peter Armstrong's mind when he didn't put that E at the end. But you can see the odds of you redrawing another E are so good at that point of the game because I believe there were 7 E's unseen.
yeah,
So on a 3-tile draw after Jute, you're very, very likely to redraw one of those E's, and you're getting 6 more points in the deal as well. So I do think that that consideration probably puts tacking the Eon over the edge, even though you're absolutely right about the U. And Elder Word says, what can I tell us about the upcoming tournament that Cherish and many other strong youth players are in? We won't focus on that for now, but more information coming on the World Youth Scrabble Championship in the very near future.
yeah.
So that's
Can't wait
definitely
for that
coming.
one.
Yeah, very exciting.
That's next. We got other fish to fry right now.
Yes.
I think I mean it happened. So we'll see what happens maybe because we know that Peter kept that last eye there. And
Yeah.
if he draws the Q, he'll have 65 points.
And
But
for Dave, this
for
is a
Dave, he could
total
just play
test.
Fog. I think
Yeah.
he's just gonna do that. I mean,
This is
it's
such
too
a
many
test
points.
of his Dave-ness, right? Like
Fog, Exo, and Yug. Yeah,
I
you
know it's
gotta do it.
38 points, right? If he plays Fog in the spot that Josh just mentioned, making the Exo hook, 38 points, leaving a beautiful leave. Going to be next to impossible for Dave to turn that down. But I got to say, it does open Dave up to the possibility of being hit by Chi, right? And given that there are 8 tiles in the bag, after Dave plays 3 with Fog, and if Peter Armstrong does draw the Q and plays Chi on top of Oidia, there will only be 3 tiles in the bag and a couple of different spots to bingo in that are kind of difficult to block simultaneously. So the game is not going to be over even after Fog, I think. It's going to be a tight squeeze for Dave. A lot of situations where the game can get away from him here, but he's absolutely a favorite, an overwhelming favorite. I just want to lay out the case that Peter does have some winning chances here.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I think that's the reason he's taking so long, but he does indeed plop it down, and
Okay,
this,
well,
yeah, this
so
is a bit much.
we see that Peter Armstrong does draw the Q, and he can play Chi for enormous score right there. But his leave of EEEOU after that play is too bad. That's just not what he needs to see right here. I can't even imagine that he has any bingo possibilities after he bombs his Q. Is there some idea that he should keep? I mean, maybe he should go a different direction than playing his. I feel like his winning chances after Chi are basically nil, so maybe he needs to go for something crazy. I don't know. Maybe he just plays it and prays.
Yeah, great suggestion in chat by Happy Wanderer, our very own Mac Meller.
Yeah, something like that.
Um,
Great suggestion.
I was
Yep.
just gonna say something like that. I didn't get to it as quickly as Mac, obviously, because Mac is Mac. But playing off, yeah, playing off the O and the E. I mean, you're down 87, right? And you're going for maybe Inquire or Relique, something like that. I think we have to do some math here. Will, are you ready?
I leave
um,
that to you. I can't.
so
I'm not
that
gonna
play
compare
under Fog would be 107 points. Um,
the Q play.
so here's the deal. The only issue I see with making that sort of play is that Dave doesn't have to empty the bag. He can leave a tile or two in the
Mm.
bag, and that 107 points might just not be enough. But I think a play like maybe even Joe for 10, um, if it's possible that that will outrun. I don't know if it'll outrun a big play on 2J, but I think that Yeah, making a play with OE is your only way to win here. But if Dave plays it right, I think it's gonna be really, really
Yeah,
hard.
and Dave is very clever. I mean, Dave has an extremely impressive combination of unbelievably solid word knowledge, and then just great tactical precision in situations like that, where I think he'll figure out a way. If Peter does make a really clever play and plays, and he
He does
does beautiful, that is a great, great idea. But of
You could also
course,
get requite, so we'll see what happens.
part of the plan here was for Dave to have very few or no vowels, which of course he does have a very nice flexible rack here, in fact. So I think Dave will be okay almost no matter what. And as Josh said, all he really has to do is not empty the bag, and he should still be fine.
But here's the
But beautiful
thing.
play by Peter, though, I have to say.
Here's the thing though, Will. What are his options? Just he doesn't want to empty the bag, so he wants to maybe play HI atop Oidia, but then like he might be worried about drawing the Q. Maybe he plays HE instead. He keeps QI at 3L. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good for him. Um, let's say he
Suggestion
plays
of
HE.
Scythian and Exxon just outrunning
Oh, does
everything.
that
That
outrun everything?
it
Probably.
might. It might. It scores a
730,
lot. So Dave is up by
47. Yeah. Yeah.
he's up by 74. He's going to get another very large amount. That might do it. I don't
No,
know.
wait,
Maybe
that's
not.
47. That's 47, so he'll be ahead 456 to 335. That's 121. No, yeah, I guess there's no QUE word. Uh, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, you
That
would
doesn't
need
work.
relique. Yeah, you would have needed relique and age to get ahead. Require is not
Yeah.
going to be enough there. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
wow. So
But
that
is
might do
there
the
you have
trick.
to calculate that, like, you have to see with 3 tiles in the bag, the worst
Yeah.
possible thing to happen. So that would be an insane play by Dave if he plays it.
And I
Um
fully expect that to be within his ability to see. He's got a long time. He's already been looking for a couple minutes now, 2 minutes of calculation, and he's got 5 more minutes to think this over and ticking. And Dave is so good in these situations. I would not at all be surprised to see him play Scythian here after having calculated that it outruns the strongest possible plays that Peter can have. Um,
Hmm.
so we'll
Yeah.
see, we'll see. But there, I mean, he's in good shape regardless. This is, I think, a purely academic position. There's many plays that he could make that will guarantee him the win.
Wow.
Wow, didn't see that coming as a possibility. So yeah, I guess from Peter's perspective, does this give him a chance to fish his V somewhere and continue to go for a lot of different words? Like Quietin now, from his perspective, he can't draw Quietin because Dave has the N. But from Peter's perspective, it would hit for a ton with Exxon.
I think he has to play VAG, no?
Yeah, I do too. The problem with that, though, is that by playing VAG, that prevents that line from continuing to be a threat. Oh, no, it doesn't, because Requite now, Dave has inadvertently made another spot for Requite to play, right? You
Yeah,
can now fit that under Oidia. Oh, that always did fit. So Requite is possible to play with overlaps underneath Oidia, and then Quietin plays for an enormous amount. Okay, he fishes his V there.
yeah, yeah, I mean
Okay, we're gonna just see a bingo here for
and maybe
Dave.
Requite will come down, that would be really cool. But I think that
Oh yeah, Chiv may be better, in fact.
oh, Chiv,
Good
yeah, but
suggestion, Evil Budgie.
I don't know, I'm still sorry that I'm so silent. I'm still looking at the position with Sithan. I don't know if it beats, like, Verdure for 81. Oh, no, he doesn't draw the R. Oh, that's too
He
bad.
draws Quieted after all that, so he has a
Uh,
bingo, but it looks like there's nowhere for this to actually play.
oh, that's too
Um,
bad. What a
wow,
weird end of the game there. I don't know. I don't
this
know
one.
if Sithin wins against Verdure, you draw the Q.
We'll have to
Um,
just look. We'll just have to try to quackle this really quick afterwards, which we can do at one click. In fact, using the export to GCG button on Woogles. No other online platform has that option. So I'm just going to click this bad boy, open up the game, and we're going to put Scythen in and sim and see if they're. Oh, well, I have it as NWL. That's certainly going to help. When I put it to Collins, okay, Scythen.
yeah, no, it does win. It does win.
Yeah, it looks like a winner by just enough.
I was thinking of for Durer. I mean, I think it's the same thing if Requite happens. It's probably
Oh,
the
you're
same
saying to
math.
catch him with the Q
10,
too.
13.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So 107 total. Yeah, it wins. It wins by like 15.
yeah, a couple points. So a very interesting ending of this game, and it looks like Dave Wiegand is going to win.